Oro and Tiggy were the best of friends. Ever since they met, they had done everything together, exploring dense jungles, climbing towering mountains, and racing across open plains. Tiggy, a big, brave orange tiger with bold black stripes, had always been Oro's protector, but also his partner in mischief. And Oro, a 10-year-old boy, bright green eyes, and an endless thirst for adventure, never shied away from the excitement Tiggy brought into his life. One day, in their imagination, they found themselves in Australia's vast outback, a place unlike anything they had ever seen before. The golden sun blazed in the sky, casting long shadows over the red earth, with the smell of warm dust and dry eucalyptus trees. Oro, walking beside Tiggy, said, "Where do we start?" shielding his eyes against the sun. Tiggy, with his golden eyes scanning the horizon, said, "Where the adventure takes us." With that, they set off into the wild. A hop, a pouch, and a root. Their first encounter was with a family of kangaroos. They looked at Oro and Tiggy curiously. Their ears were twitching as they got closer. Tiggy took a cautious step forward towards one of the kangaroos and said, "I bet I can jump higher than it." Before Oro could stop him, Tiggy sprang high. The kangaroo snorted and without warning bounded away in 3 massive leaps. Tiggy landed gracefully, flicking dust off his mighty paws. "Okay, maybe not," he admitted. Oro laughed and said, "Come on, Tiggs, let's see what else we can find." They kept walking down the desert looking for their next discovery. They were excited to see what they can find next. The great outback has amazing living creatures with their unique skills and lifestyles. One thing common in all is that they live close together with their families. Further along, they stumbled upon a plump little wombat, digging a burrow in the soft earth. The brown-furred creature was completely focused on its work, kicking up dirt with its powerful claws. Oro crouched beside it and said, "Hey, little guy, what are you up to?" The wombat barely spared him a glance. Tiggy leaned forward and said, "It's just gone." Tiggy's tail twitching in confusion. Oro grinned and said they dig super fast tunnels underground. It's like their secret hideout. A laughing feathered friend. As they walked through a grove of gum trees, a kookaburra suddenly burst into loud and echoing laughter above them. Tiggy's ears flattened. "What was that?" Oro pointed up and said, "It's a kookaburra. They sound like they're laughing at you." The round, blue-winged bird fluffed its feathers, still cackling. Tiggy narrowed his eyes and said, "I don't like being laughed at." Oro mimicked the bird's laughter, tilting his head back and chuckling. The kookaburra seemed amused by this and flapped down, perching right on Tiggy's tail. Tiggy froze and said, "It's sitting on me." Oro tried to keep a straight face and said, "Ah, yep." Tiggy sighed and said, "I suppose I'll allow it, for now." The kookaburra laughed again and took off into the sky. Soon after, they encountered an emu, a giant bird with shaggy feathers and long, powerful legs. Oro starts running, saying, "Race you." Tiggy crouched low, ready to sprint. "You're on." Before they could take off, the emu shot forward, already in the lead. Oro and Tiggy bolted after it, racing across the dusty landscape. But no matter how fast they ran, the emu remained ahead. Breathless Oro slowed down, hands on his knees. "Okay, emus are fast." Tiggy flopped onto the ground, panting, "I need a nap." The emu, now a distant silhouette, let out a victorious squawk before vanishing into the outback. Later they reached a still blue billabong. The air was thick with humidity, and dragonflies zipped over the water. Oro leaned forward to splash his face when something massive shifted beneath the surface. Tiggy's ears perked up and said, "Step back." A giant freshwater crocodile emerged, its scaly back glistening in the sunlight. It locked eyes with them, its tail barely rippling the water. The crocodile blinked once. Tiggy took a cautious step, standing tall, saying, "I don't think it wants to play." Slowly, the crocodile slid back into the water, disappearing beneath the surface like a living shadow. Oro replied, "Okay, let's not swim here." Tiggy nodded and said, "Agreed." As they were crossing the road, a cute little echidna showed up. It walked along with them a little before crossing the road and hide away in the bush. As the sun goes down, Oro sits on a fallen tree near a small, clear creek, his feet dangling just above the water. Tiggy stands beside him, watching a playful platypus glide beneath the surface, its webbed feet paddling effortlessly. The platypus pops up, shaking water from its duck-like bill, making him laugh. As the sun dipped low in the sky, they stumbled upon a frill-necked lizard sitting on a rock. At first it seemed calm, until it suddenly flared out its massive spiky frill, standing tall in a defensive stance. Oro shouts, "That is awesome!" Tiggy jumped back in shock, his tail fluffing up, saying, "Why does it do that?" Oro replied, "It's how it scares away threats. Look at those spikes." The lizard held its pose for a moment before relaxing and scurrying away. Tiggy's still wide-eyed and says, "The lizard was kinda scary." Oro chuckles and replies, "I think you are right, Tiggs." As the day came to an end, Oro and Tiggy sat on a rocky ledge, watching the sun sink into the horizon. The sky was painted in fiery oranges, deep purples, and soft pinks. The outback stretched endlessly before them, full of adventure, mystery, and wild creatures they had only just begun to discover. Tiggy yawned and, stretching out, said, "That was a lot of animals." Oro smiled, leaning back on his hand, says, "That was an amazing day, right? And tomorrow, we do it all again." Tiggy smirked and said, "As long as no more birds land on me." Oro laughed, bumping his shoulder, and replied, "Can't make any promises." With the stars beginning to twinkle above, the two best friends sat together, ready for all the adventures tomorrow would bring. And that's the end of the story.